And we are live for this week's Flippinar. Got my girl Adrian back with us. Let me mute me over here. So we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Did I leave that out?
Don't see it quite yet, but you said
it. All right, let me make sure people can access through Flippinar.com to through the Flippinar website. So guys, give me just a second to add the link. So boom, so we're there. So I'm going to the website. So guys, how's it going, Adrian?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. We have people that are everywhere right now. YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. So guys, good evening to you. Let us know where you are coming from, whether it's Planet USA or abroad or whatever. But we're trying to be live on all of these different platforms. It's a little of a challenge because of the number of devices that are needed. What's going on, Jetson in Tampa, Florida. But again, we're fortunate enough to have my producer with us tonight. Again, we're live on Instagram also, along with Facebook, YouTube. So this Flippinar this week, hopefully we can get some stuff done on all these platforms. You can line up and start asking your questions. And hey, we're gonna knock out this hour or so. Hopefully you'll learn and it'll help you on your journey. Again, welcome Instagram. We only get 1 hour on Instagram, so if we go over, then obviously you can go over to YouTube or Facebook. You can access that through Flippinar.com. That's Flippinar.com. So you can go ahead and start loading your questions. Adrian is going to narrate those for us. She's helping with the technical side of it, so we could try to get more done. So guys, let's make it happen. Again, good evening, everyone. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on Instagram. So share it, let others know. That increases your chances of your question getting answered. We take them first come, first serve for the most part, going between the two platforms. I won't be able to, as of right now, be able to answer questions through Instagram. So I apologize. It's just the way it's set up right now. I think I have that worked out next week where I'll be able to ask questions from Instagram also. But thank you for joining us on whichever platform that you're on. So Adrian, what question do we have first after all that? Oh, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you like on Facebook, follow on Facebook, follow on Twitter, and check out the 200 plus videos I have on YouTube. If you don't know how to access those, simply go to YouTube and do a search for the Flipman, and you should be able to find my channel with ease. So again, what's our first question, Adrian?
Well, I'm looking on Facebook and YouTube, and I've yet to see one. Greetings to everyone. I guess let me say that first. He put Kakalaki. I apologize, guys. Might be having some technical difficulties here, but I'm not seeing anything as of yet. No questions from anyone?
No question. Hey, we can end this early tonight. I can get ready for the game. Get ready for the game, baby. So
wow, that cannot be done.
But we're gonna have some questions. It's a little cold, so we'll have some questions. But again, we're live on Instagram, so welcome to this Flippinar for this particular week. We're on every Thursday night. I should be able to start taking calls from Instagram next week also, so don't fret. But again, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Instagram, we're live on Facebook. So we're on 3 different platforms, and we're here to answer your questions about Creative ways of real estate investing, mainly wholesaling, where that allows you to put deals together no matter what your cash or credit situation is. You'll be able to make money and lots of it. So again, what questions do you have on this week's Flippinar? We welcome those that are here. Already got a good number in the I see plenty of questions. You may need to refresh your screen.
I see them now. I see some coming in,
Okay.
especially from, well, what I see right now, we'll go with Mr. Roy. He says, hey, Flipman, I texted you a couple of days ago. Basically, my partner and I were calling turnkey companies trying to make conversation to develop a relationship and add them to our buyers list. They were very short with this, or the gatekeeper wouldn't let us in. Any recommendations on dealing with turnkey companies?
When he say turnkey company, I'm assuming he means someone like a home investor or somebody like that. Sir Roy, I think that's what his name was.
Yes, Roy.
Well, Roy, if you watch, I think that's in one of my questions, the 5 mistakes newbies should avoid when starting wholesaling, is that you think you need to reach out to buyers first and you don't have anything. The reason they're short with you, because you don't have anything. If you had a great deal, trust me, the whole attitude or your whole experience would have been different. Focus on the harder part of it, which is finding great deals. Buyers are not difficult to find. I repeat this every week, and I'll probably have to repeat this again through another question, but focus on the harder part of it, which are sellers. Buyers are not difficult. It is not hard to give away money. I will say this again, it's not hard to give away money. Speaking of that, if everything goes well, I'll have a video up with a couple, some new students of mine that made $13,500 on their first deal. Hopefully, I can get them on tomorrow. We can get it knocked out in the next couple of days, and I'll have it up in the next couple of days. So I'm not sure what their story is, but it's interesting, like most of them are. But again, focus on a great deal and advertise the buyers, and they'll beg you not to show it to anyone else. Next question.
Okay. Well, Roy also said he has 6 contracts. So yay, Roy. Another gentleman asks, what are...
Oh, wait a minute. On that, if he has 6 contracts and nobody wants those deals, well, either one or 2 things are happening. Either those are not great deals, Roy, or you're not doing an effective job of letting people know that you have deals. I'm going to side on they're probably not great deals. Just because you have them on a contract doesn't identify that they're great deals.
Okay. Roy, you got that? I'll send him a message to make sure he heard you on that one. Someone asked, what are your creative marketing techniques, ideas?
Well, there are not many in the sense of anything earth-shattering. If you watched any number of my videos, you know I'm a huge proponent of bandit signs because they work. Now, some markets are a little tougher than others, but you can still even be creative beyond that to still get exposure, because you're just taking a very old method, the billboard method of taking advantage of traffic, vehicle traffic, people that are in traffic, just their everyday travels, and you put a message out in front of them, and if it fits what they're looking for, they pick up the phone and call you. Obviously, direct mail, you can do some old method. You can do some online stuff, but as far as social media, and obviously the website, Google AdWords, Facebook ads, but those are just going to be the general ways. Now, the student, the couple that I'm interviewing tomorrow, they had a creative way of, they created their own mini flyers and put them in convenience stores and gave the convenience store some incentive to promote, what they do. I'm not sure if that deal that they did came from that, but there are tons of ways. Obviously, bird dogs is another way that you can put tentacles out there to try to help you find deals. That's another way. So Those are just the ones off the top of my head. Anyone else has some great ideas, you feel free to share, and Adrian will get to them. But those are the ones that I know that are most effective. So what's the next question?
Okay, George Queen on Facebook asks, do you agree with the wholesale companies who want you to buy in to get started? He says he had a company say he needed $5,000 to get started. He found a deal, they acquired the property and sell it to an investor, and he gets paid at closing. What do you think about that?
He has to pay $5,000 up front?
He says, I had a company say I needed $5,000 to get started. Right.
Well, that may sound like some type of training program or something. That's different than you becoming eligible to sell to them, and that may be a part of their package. I'd have to understand the full I guess parameters of what they're offering. So, but that's a tough one because I don't know what all they're offering. But that's one of those things that you're asking me about what somebody else does as far as training. You know, it's just like asking Coke, you know, what do you think about Pepsi? Or Ford, what do you think about Chevy? You know, obviously I'll offer a product, you know what I'm saying? I offer free videos that tell you what to do or whatever. But anyway, I don't understand the full process that he's talking about. So you'd have to go in a little bit more detail. Next question.
All right. So we have a lifelong student, that's the name, off YouTube. It says, Flipman, a question. What's the best way to locate owners of vacant homes? He's from Planet USA.
All right. The best way to locate owners of vacant homes, first you have to identify who owns the property. Normally you can do that through courthouse records, through tax records. Some states are not, I'm not sure what the word is, but it's not public information, I guess you would say. But the tax bill has to go somewhere. So if it's public information, you would find out where the tax bill goes. Hopefully it's a different address from the address that you're targeting. Okay, first, after you establish that, you could do a Google search to see if you could come up with an actual phone number that you can just pick up and call them and ask them, would they be interested in selling? That is not as easy as it used to be. So the other thing would be you would reach out through them through direct mail. That's part of what absentee list will do for you. But if you're targeting a specific property that you found from being vacant, then that's one of the things you do. The other thing you can do is just simply go ask your neighbors. A lot of times they just know. They know what happened to the property. They have somewhat of a history of the property. And in some instances, they know how to contact the actual owner. And you give them an incentive to provide your number or pass your number along to the owner. And if you close on it, you pay them maybe $500 or $1,000.
Okay. On Facebook, Juan James asks, Flipman, I need assistance on finding a list to make cold calls. Any advice?
Well, when you say cold calls, who are you targeting? You got to first identify who you're targeting. When you say you're going to make cold calls, so we would have to first know that. Who are you targeting? Online for sale by owner, offline for sale by owner? You're just calling real estate agents. You know, you would have to identify who you're actually calling first before I could even answer that particular question.
Okay. Hopefully you got that answer, and that'll put him in the path of what he needs. But we got Queen Nadine, who asks Ty, the Flipman, a question. She wants to know, what should I put on bandit signs? I've been putting up bandit signs and haven't gotten any calls back. Well,
there's a method to the madness as far as bandit signs. The number one thing is how long they're staying up. Then obviously your message. A lot of people want to put a lot of information on a bandit sign. I'm actually doing a little of that myself now, testing something out from one of my YouTube subscribers that recommended. But normally you want to keep it very simple. We buy houses and a phone number. I buy houses and a phone number. You have to understand that people are reading your message from a distance. and it's on a very small display as far as the sign, the actual text area that you can use. So you can't get too creative because number one, they're not looking to see your message. You know, meaning you're putting it in, your objective is to put it in their face and they see it regardless if they want to see it or not. But the easiest way to do that and the most efficient way to do that is make sure the message is large enough that they can read it. You know, the more text you put on there, the smaller the real message is, which is we buy houses or I buy houses and your contact information.
Okay. Mr. Duke from Facebook has a question that many people ask when dapping into this. He says, do you have to have a license?
No, you don't have to have I'm assuming he means a real estate license, but no, you don't have to have a real estate license to wholesale houses.
Okay. Now, I guess just to ask someone with a real estate license, are they able to flip houses?
Yeah, if you have a real estate license, you can wholesale houses. You just have to make sellers make them aware that you are an actual agent and you proceed on.
Okay. Juan from YouTube asks, do you recommend LLC or S Corp for wholesaling? And would you briefly explain the difference?
I don't know the difference, number one. Let me just be clear on that. So either one of them will work, I'm sure, because they're both entities outside of yourself. I'm more familiar with LLCs, but to note that to define what the differences are, just simply do a Google search. Google is your friend, but both work. As far as the tax ramifications, that's what CPAs are for. I'm not a CPA.
All right. Monica Hill, another viewer on YouTube, asks, can you sue a seller for breach of contract? We were supposed to close by May 10th, but we couldn't because of the tenant not paying the rent for the month. So we had to wait till the tenant moved.
Well, you could sue someone for anything, but it's going to cost you money, and there's no guarantee that you're going to win. So yeah, you can sue them. Yeah, I'm sure that there are attorneys that'll be glad to take your money, but nothing says that you're going to win.
Okay. From Quantina, would you recommend rendering offers to FSBOs immediately?
Rendering offers to FSBOs immediately? Does he mean making offers to them?
That we will have to clarify. Quantina, if you heard that question, go ahead and notate exactly what you mean and we'll come back to it. Bankable Properties on YouTube asks, if you mail 1,000 pieces, do you mail all at once, say on the first of the month, or spread it out over the month, like 250 a week?
If you're just doing postcards, I would just mail them all at once. If you're just doing postcards. If it's yellow letters, I would do the same thing. It really doesn't matter. You know, the main thing is if you're gonna do 1,000, make sure you're doing 1,000 every month or every 2 months. Because direct mail, it's a snowball effect. You know, you may not get a lot of calls initially, but you have to just continue to do it because people will call you 3 or 4 months, 6 months. I've had people call me a year later from a campaign that I sent out. They held on to the piece of mail or whatever. So you want to, whatever you're going to do, just be consistent with it, whether it's 1,000 a month or every 2 months, but you need to be consistent with it.
Okay. Speaking on the same, this isn't mailing, but another viewer asks, what is your view on putting door hangers on vacant properties?
Well, obviously, any action is better than no action. You are assuming that someone's coming back and checking those doors often. Again, some action is better than no action. But, you know, the question is how often is the owner of the property coming back to check on it? Sometimes you can just tell by how it looks that they're never checking on it. So that's going to be a hit or miss. But again, some action is better than no action. It's nothing I would do. I'll just tell you that.
Okay. Question from Facebook. How does the proof of funds program you promote work? When and how do you use it?
Well, proof of funds is really just when you're dealing with real estate agents or brokers. You have to feed the beast. They do not want to deal with you unless you have some form of proof that you can pay for the property. So there are services out there like the one that I promote that offer that exact service. And you do not have access to those funds. They make it clear. All right. But as far as to allow you to make an offer, you need an end game. Obviously, whenever you're making an offer, even if it's accepted, you need an end game, whether you want to actually buy the property or you're going to wholesale it or whatever. So you do need an end game. I just wanted to mention again, we are live on YouTube. We are live on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Awesome. Mr. Gigi asked a question in regards to once you have a home under contract, do you use the open house method or the bring the buyers one by one to show your homes?
No. I don't. I'm not saying no way. I've heard people doing that before, but a lot of these buyers are on their own schedule or whatever, and so the ideal approach is to be able to. It's a vacant property, and a seller will allow you to put in a lockbox on the property. So whenever buyers call you, you talk to them. You'll have a feel of not how serious they are, or whatever. But again, I always have video first, so they already know what they're going to see. They just want to verify what they're seeing on the video. So, but the open house approach, that's nothing I would want to do. Because I don't even like to be there when the buyer's there, because that's just their opportunity to try to talk you down. This is wrong with the property, blah, blah, blah. I don't even like to go through that cat and mouse game. So if I can avoid being there when they're there, sometimes you can't, but that's always my approach. But that's just me. I'm not saying the other way doesn't work, but it's just me.
All right. This is a very serious question from Rico Tolliver on YouTube. And he asks, who you got, Cavs or Golden State?
Cavs in 5, but I really want to say 4.
All right. You heard it.
And that's what I really want to say. So Cavs in 5, but I really want to say 4.
Okay.
And I'm as objective as they come. It's just, sports are all about matchups. They don't match up well. The Cavs have been built to beat Golden State. They run around, do whatever they do, but the Cavs have been built to beat Golden State. So next week, we'll see. We'll be at a different place next week. They play tonight. They play Sunday. I think they'll play again either Tuesday or Wednesday. So 3 games that will already been played by the time we roll around next week. So, I'm going to look like a big jackass, or look like I need to be living in Vegas. So we'll see what's up.
All right, Rico, you started that. The next question I have is from Lawrence, and this is YouTube. What's the time frame that you give a seller when you have a property under contract?
Normally just 30 days. Normally I write my contracts up for 30 days. If I can't, 35, something like that. Normally it's less than 40 for sure. But if I can't normally get a deal done in that time frame, something I've done wrong on my end. So normally just 30, maybe 33, 34 days, something like that.
All right. This is your ACT test question of the day, math question. Sydney wants to know, just throwing some numbers. He wants to see if he has a deal. If the after repair value is $175,000, repairs cost $50,000, and the seller is asking $80,000, is that a deal?
Wait a minute now. Say that again. I want to say that again.
The after repair value is $175K. It's going to take $50,000 in repairs, and the seller is asking $80,000. So that's $130,000 with $45,000 leeway in there. What should he offer, and is that a deal?
Well, you're almost at 100, but it's going to take 50 to fix it. You really probably need to be around about 60, because you hadn't gotten paid. That no closing cost has been paid in that 130 amount with 45 left. So you probably really need to be around 60, because 50K, that's a huge. That's a really serious rehab job. So I would say you need to be around 60 in reality in order for you to get paid.
All right. Mimi Rives from YouTube asks, where can I find hard money lenders?
Google is your friend, number one. But you can go to privatemoneylist.net and hey, there you are. You have a list of over 400 of them, that you can pay for. So, but again, if you don't want to do that, Google is your friend.
All right. Sig just called me out. He said, ask why I skipped this question. I was trying to look at both places, so I apologize. But one of his questions was, what do you use to set up or how do you set up your bandit signs?
What do you mean set up? He doesn't mean what I order them from? What I order them from?
No, I'm sure he means how do you put them out?
Oh, I use cable tied. I tie my sign. I have a recent video on how to place bandit signs. It's one of the last 3 or 4 videos I did, so you can go see. I actually have my guy out there while I'm videoing him putting up signs or whatever. So I'm a big cable sign guy. I don't use stakes. I don't nail to poles anymore. I just use straight cable ties around stop signs, no parking signs, non-directional signs, yield signs, those type of metal poles, which are only, so big or whatever, and you get a lot more flexibility when you're using those. You can place them in a lot of different places that you normally can't go, especially when you're comparing nailing them up. So.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm looking at the video, the title right now here in the background, how to find great deals using bandit signs. Best way and places to hang bandit signs. That's the title.
Okay, Sig, I hope you got that. I'll type it again in the notes just in case maybe that'll answer both of your questions. Another question from a YouTube viewer is, and I'm just going to narrow it down to 3. Give 3 characteristics of what makes a great deal. What 3 things would line up? The stars are in line and says, this is it.
Motivation of the seller. All right. The property is vacant. And they give you the keys.
All right, you heard it. That's it. Shane from Facebook asks, how do you feel about the Bigger Pockets wholesale calculator to make an offer?
Back to that last question. Now, that doesn't make a deal. I mean, anything outside those parameters doesn't make it not a deal. I'm just saying what would be that's the perfect scenario. As far as motivation, vacant, and the keys, that just makes it the perfect scenario. Obviously, the price is what I need to be when I say motivation. But anyway, back to the Bigger Pockets calculator. I have no idea. I'm not familiar with that. If it's a tool that you can use, roll with it. That goes back to that Coke. What you think about Pepsi deal? So.
All right, I'm sending George Queen on Facebook a note. I'm sorry, bear with me a moment. George, shoot me that question again. I must have scrolled down or either deleted it. Rudy, the wellness coach on YouTube, asks, can we use your contract in the state of Florida without having a real estate attorney going over it?
My contract is being used all over, especially Florida. So yes, it's just a simple 1-page contract. Yes, it can be used there.
Okay. I guess maybe you can plug it again, tell them what video it was on how to find what to put on the bandit signs, but we've been, it's just asked again, what, I see it probably like 3-4 times, what goes on the bandit sign?
Oh, I buy houses, we buy houses, and a phone number. That's it. I'm a red and blue with white background. I'm always going to go with those. As humans, as I've been told, our eyes are naturally attracted to red first and white second. So only white backgrounds make those pop. So I buy houses, phone number, or we buy houses, phone number. That's it.
Okay. Someone asked, it's a 2-part question. We're going to tie it into one. What is the best way to locate owners of vacant homes? And then how much does it cost to get a list from RealQuest? Or I guess ultimately, maybe not even how much it costs, but is that a good source to use?
What, as far as real question to find vacant homeowners?
Well, two-part question. How do you locate the owners? And then also, you know, using RealQuest, I guess, a tool in the wholesaler.
Okay. I think we just answered the one about the vacant. How to find.
We did, but I'm getting fussed at, so I'm trying to make sure they missed
Yeah,
it.
I've already answered that question. So you can go back. The replay will be back up within 30 minutes on the first question. I'm not going to answer that again. But as far as real quick, I hadn't used it in a long time because there's so many free sources out there in comparison. And I haven't even used, they may even have some free features there. So I hadn't touched it in a while. And maybe I need to, because I know what people, they're seeing a very old video of mine where I strongly recommended RealQuest or whatever, but that was before the Zillow, the Troyas, and all these other sites existed. So I may need to just go back and look at it because they still may have some free features that may be beneficial. So we'll hold off on that. Maybe I'll have the answer for that next week.
Okay. Jefferson Lewis asks, once you get a home under contract, do you go straight to the title company or assign it to a cash investor?
Well, you want to get an investor in place first before you approach the title company, which main reason why, because the investor may not want to use who you use. The one with all the gold makes the decision. Now, sometimes they'll say, I don't care, wherever, but especially starting out, just wait until you get a buyer in place and use whoever they normally use. That's what I would recommend.
Okay. Dexter asks, could you explain the steps to a rental property with tenants?
I'm not sure what he's asking.
Probably how would you assign or place a home under contract that's a rental property that already has someone living in it?
Okay. Well, it depends on what type of tenant, whether it's Section 8 or straight rent. How long are they under a month-to-month lease or a lease at all? And if so, the length of the term. You'll want to try to get some history about the tenant and obviously their income, the source of income, and their payment history. Hopefully the owner is being truthful with you about that. But a lot of times, because you don't know that the owner is being truthful, it has to be a really good deal in most cases, especially when it's just a house itself and it's not a multi-family dwelling. So all of those will factor in, and it'll boil down to also where it's located, what part of town it's located. Because if it's an easy area to rent in, a highly desirable or a area, I guess you would say, that people are always wanting to rent in, especially if it's an attractive school zone, then those you can pay a little more for because it probably won't be that difficult to move. But you have to take all those factors in consideration as far as the tenant, which is sometimes difficult to verify when it's just a single property like that.
All right. Off-roader viewer on YouTube asks, can you put a pre-foreclosure and one in foreclosure under contract?
Well, a pre-foreclosure, yeah, the owner, technically, they still own it. It hadn't been foreclosed on it. If it's actually been foreclosed on, you can place that under contract too. But now you have a real estate agent involved for sure. On the other one, you could also, but for sure, if it's a property that's been put back out there, the banks are going to go through a brokerage, to try to sell their property. So that's a different animal. They're going to want proof of funds, and a lot of times, they're going to want earnest money also. So you got to take those factors in consideration, and you can't assign those either. So if you're going to wholesale it, you're going to have to have some type of way, some people say transactional funding, to buy the property first, and then obviously you can do whatever with it, even if it's within the same day or within a few hours, so you've had a buyer ready to go. But the traditional way of wholesaling it with assignment, even a double close, it's just not going to work unless you got a title company, closing attorney, probably doing something they shouldn't be doing.
All right. This is a question in regards to the contract. Can the contract be used for mobile homes, and can it also be used for commercial real estate?
Well, it can be used for mobile homes, But the thing about that, you have to understand with mobile homes is the owner has the actual title in hand. It's just like a car. You don't need a contract to buy a car. All right, so it's really tricky to wholesale mobile homes because it's just like a car. You have a bill of sale. Somebody you can print those off the internet, write it up, or you can just write one up on the hood of a car or someone's kitchen table, and boom, they hand them the title to the mobile home. That's it. So a contract is really not that concrete like it is with a house. See, with a house, you have to go through a process to buy it. Whereas again, mobile homes are treated just like automobiles. So that contract, I would say, you don't even worry about that. It's more about timing. In a lot of cases with mobile homes, you have to have resources probably to buy first, even if you had a buyer ready to go, because it's so easy for that transaction to go down without you, especially if the property is not vacant or you don't have access to the property to show without the owner being there. So as far as commercial real estate, no, unless it's just a small property, under 100 grand, maybe a little over 100 grand, then yeah, well, no, you can't use that contract because it's residential specific. So the one I'm talking about is where if you're referring to my contract, you can't use that for commercial real estate. To answer your question, no, you can't use it.
Okay. In your opinion, what's the best online platform to get comps?
Well, I use a combination of things, and these sites like Zillow, Trulia, HomeSnap Homes, Realtor.com, they're ever changing. And a lot of times they have comparable sales, which it's all about distance, similar square footage, the time, how recent the sales were. And it's not difficult to look at that information. And sometimes they make it easy to access, and sometimes they don't. So I can't really recommend one just off the top of my head because I use a combination of them all. Zillow seems to have the most consistency, but someone can correct me out there again. But they should normally provide pretty much similar information as far as comparable sales, because you're talking about the same general area of a property, similar in size in a lot of cases. And then obviously the time, how recent the transaction occurred, that truly matters.
Okay. Quantina asks, do you make offers to FSBOs via Zillow? Well, can you?
Well, yeah, boy, you can. Obviously, that's a property that's already been advertised, and people do it all the time, and they make money with it. You just need to have the right type of buyers ready to go, because it's not like those are secrets. And then obviously, if you go if you can negotiate, it may be advertised on Zillow, and you negotiate into a really great deal. But again, you still have to have the right type of buyer. And what I mean by that is that it's not the contact information of that listing is still there in most cases, and there's an opportunity for them to reach out to the seller and possibly blow up your deal. I've had that to happen on properties that I was advertising on Zillow when you could do it. They make it difficult now if you're not the owner. But yeah, you can do that. You just have to understand, number one, that it's already being advertised, and that your buyer, you just have to have the right type of buyer. I call them lazy buyers. They just want you to feed them deals. They're good buyers, but they're lazy buyers. They don't care where it comes from. They don't care if it's already being advertised, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of buyers are not like that. So as long as you got the right type of buyer, yeah, roll with it.
All right. Terrence wants to know, when you put a REO under contract, do you put it in a land trust?
No. You just put a normal purchase and sales agreement. Unless I don't understand the question.
Well, that one I just read straight on, but then he asked, and someone else, I'm gonna tie these two questions together. When you do a double closing, instead of putting it in the land trust and selling the trust, yeah, Terrence, clear that up for me, because I'm not quite able to understand.
I know what he's asking. He's saying you basically put it in a trust, or you can put it in an LLC and just sell the LLC. People do that also. I've never personally done it before. But again, you still have to have the right type of buyer to do that. All buyers don't want to do it that way. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't set up the LLC, they didn't set up the trust, they may not trust how it was set up. So you still have to have the right type of buyer. I don't care what your method is when you start dealing with REOs, because it's not like they're secrets. You know, they're advertised to the world. Now, you may be unfortunate enough to negotiate a deal that's attractive or whatever, but it's still, you have to have the right type of buyer that's going to allow you to be creative where you can get paid.
Okay. Still speaking on the double contract, E. Ramos wants to know, can you explain your double contract close? How do you pay the actual seller?
The double contract close? I guess he means you got contract A at one price with the seller, contract B with the buyer. The seller gets paid. The contract that says they're going to get $30,000, that's what they get at closing. I get the difference between contract A and contract B. That's it.
Okay.
He had to maybe be a little bit more detailed on his question, but the seller gets paid what the contract and that we agreed upon, the amount that's on that contract, they receive that at closing.
Okay. Mr. Gigi asked, would you advise using the MLS to get a high enough after repair value, or any other source is just fine? He's asking because some of the investors he deals with sometimes get an ARV different than his and say the numbers are tight.
Well, you're going to always have that, you know what I'm saying? And it depends on the area, the market, or whatever. So that's why you have to be very, very conservative in your ARV, and obviously negotiating the cheapest deal possible, because you're going to always have some guys that say, hey, it's too tight or whatever. But all your deals are not going to be for everybody. You may have a list of investors, of 30 investors. Only takes one of them to want it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then there are always people coming into the game. That's why it's always important to always advertise your property, whether you have a list or not. You always want to let your list know that you have one, but you always have people getting into the business at all times, and timing is a mother.
Okay. George, I asked you a question in regards to him earlier, and he said he guess he needs clarity, I guess, because you weren't sure, I wasn't sure. It was about the $5,000 buy-in to the program. And I think at that point you said it just was probably a fee that they're charging for their course for, you know, to teach you. But he's saying that no, he was supposed to buy 5,000 in, and then he would bring them the deal on the property, and I guess he would get paid at closing, I guess just a bonus fee. It sounds almost as if bird dogging, but paying the bird dog. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're asking you to pay them to have the privilege of them buying from you. No, no, cuz I don't even know how you're considering something like that. Again, unless you're not explaining what we're understanding, but I don't even know how you're considering something like that. I gotta pay you to let you buy from me. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah. He says that it sounds like they're trying to take advantage of people, but if you've watched any of these videos, George, or read any information, it just doesn't sound like you need them at all anyway. You can do this on your own. So no, most definitely not worth the 5,000. Teresa Bokamp wants to know, what neighborhoods do you prefer to buy in? Is there a particular neighborhood?
Well, you know, every market is going to be different. The majority of the deals that I've been able to do over the years, you know, I bought in all type of neighborhoods. Don't get me wrong. I've done deals in all type of neighborhoods, but the majority has been in the hood. You know, not so much recently, but there's no question in the questionable areas and the areas that you see on the news every night. Again, each market is different. But I don't care where you are, the deal's there, you know what I'm saying? Because if people are living there, they're not living there for free. They're paying rent or they're buying. So there's obviously opportunities there. A lot of times those are going to be strong rental areas or high rental areas, not meaning in the amount of the rents, but a lot of people are renting. A high number of the people that are living over there are renting. So that means someone's investing over there, which means there's opportunity for you to wholesale properties over there. So You just have to figure out how cheap you need to be in order for buyers to take them off your hands. Some of it's just flat out trial and error.
Okay. Turnersville 2000. I guess he has a scenario. He says, I lost my first wholesale deal because the older sister was selling me her deceased mother's house, but the younger sister was squatting in it. What should I have done to get her out? I lost $10,000.
Well, if the older sister actually was the executor or had the legal right to sell the property, I would have went to the lady that was squatting there and offered her some money to move out, because you know, they could go through a process to put her out. There's no question about that. If the older sister had legal right to the property or whatever, and that would have been your threat. But I would nicely have went and offered her to pay her to move out, but only after she moved out that you know, I been able to prove to her I had $1,000 in escrow. And once they move out, she can get it, you know, or whatever. I don't know what the number, maybe more than it. You may have had to do 2,000. I don't know, but I definitely would have offered money first. And that's what I would have done.
Okay. Teresa again asked, is there a minimum number of bedrooms and or bathrooms that you require, or a minimum amount of square footage when looking for deals? Or if someone called you and said, hey, I have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, you interested? Do you say no? Well,
some markets that 1-bedroom, 1-bath would work, but in my market it wouldn't. Unless there was a lot of square footage. Normally it isn't. But if there was a lot of square footage, that would work, you know, because you can always, and if you got it cheap enough, because you can always go in there and redesign everything if the square footage was there. If it was 1,200 square feet, and if it was a 1-bedroom, yeah, you can go in there and redesign that to make it a 3-2 with that much. But if it's 700 square feet and it's a 1-1, hey, you know, hey, thank you for your time. You know, there's nothing. It's going to probably be nothing you can do with that, no matter how cheap it is, unless it's in a neighborhood, a highly desirable neighborhood where there's a lot of buying going on. You have to take some other things into consideration. But for the most part, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath in most markets is just going to be hard to move, no matter how cheap you get it, if it's a very small house. But to answer your question, probably the minimum. I've done 900 square feet houses before. I think I've done a 700 square feet house before, but they're harder to do, very difficult to do. Again, it depends on the market and what part of the market you're in, again.
Okay, Ma Vang has a question. I'm gonna say, heck yeah, girl. She asked, is $10 per one bandit sign too much? 18 by 24 for 3 colors.
Oh, she's trying to do 3 colors. Are you counting the background, the color of the sign as a color, or are you saying like
specify? But you don't need 3 colors to boot. But okay.
No, that's still too high. I know at dirtcheapsigns.com, which is where I recommend don't order online, call or speak to Curtis or Christina. Let them know I sent you and they'll give you a small discount. But they would give you a better rate than that, even with 3 colors, but you don't need 3 colors. 2 colors are more than enough because it'll look like 3 colors.
Okay. Question from Jeremy Collins. He says, a realtor in Cali has some pocket listings. He's willing to pay me if I bring a buyer. I need to figure out how to make it work. I'm not in Cali, but the buyer is. I don't want to get cut out.
If you had a realtor involved, and if you actually put the property under contract, they're not going to. In most cases, I would say 99% of the realtors are not going to go behind your back. You know, they don't want to lose their license because that's totally against what they're supposed to do. But if they allow you to put it in the contract, and if it's a deal, then yeah, you'll be okay if the realtor's involved.
Okay, Victoria, I scrolled up and I see your question. She asked, where and when should someone open up an RIA account?
What? IRA?
An IRA account, right?
I can't answer that for you, baby girl. Are you asking any from the Facebook?
I am.
Okay, cool. Again, we are answering questions from Facebook also, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Not yet on Instagram as far as answering questions from there, but we'll get to it next week or whatever. So, but as far as the IRA, that's going to be a personal thing on what you do with your money once you get it. You know, I don't advise people on that. Only thing I advise you to do, which I haven't always been good at, is be a good steward of your money.
Okay, let's see here. I'm sending my people on Facebook. Facebook is just really not being user friendly with me right now. I can only see like 5 comments at a time. So if I've missed you, shoot it again, and I'll try to get you in the last, this last 5 minutes here.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them on there too.
Let's see here. Yeah, I just see the same few over and over. Hopefully they'll see that and send me something. I want to make sure everybody gets at least try to get to everybody and get your questions answered. This is a simple one while I wait for that. Do you use the same contract for the buyer and the seller?
Yeah, that's a common question. If the buyer wants to, sometimes the buyer may produce their own contract, which is fine, as long as it somewhat mirrors the terms that you have with your seller. But a lot of times they're okay with the contract that I have to use it also. So, but again, sometimes they want to use their own contract. As long as it fits your term, they're buying as is, they're paying all closing costs, which can be negotiable, and they're closing within 10 business days, so really quick, and they're earning some money, you're normally good. I don't give them too many out clauses. They want an inspection period and all that stuff. I'm normally not going to do it with cats like that. That's what when you go over to take a look at it, if you season in the game, which they need to be, not always, but they need to be, you need to know if you want to buy it. But I'm not going to tie up my property and then give you an opportunity to get out of it. I'm just not. Been there, done that, got a ribbon in it.
Okay. For anybody at this point that just wants to know about your videos, where can they look to find them? If they need help from you or want to get your personal assistance on deals, how can they get in touch with you? Where, when, how? Go ahead and let them all know that.
Well, thank you, man, just for that opening. All right, I have over 200 videos on YouTube that anyone can take advantage of. You won't believe that's just the first time seeing me, is that I have over 200 videos on YouTube that tell you everything you need to know about wholesaling houses. I have some wholesaling apartment videos mixed in there, not that many, and a couple on flipping vacant commercial buildings. But with that being said, for some people that's enough. For others, they would still like a step-by-step course on wholesaling houses and apartment buildings. I do offer that. You can access that at what you see in the background, which is flipman.net. You can get pricing there. I won't quote prices here because they will change as they have done since May 19th. They went up quite a bit, which I've been saying that they would. So if you were holding out, in the background, which is flipman.net, you can get price.
All right, that was me, all me.
All right. Yeah, so follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, flipman.net on Instagram, that's flipman, DOTNET. Then on Twitter, @theflipman, and then on Facebook, flipman.net. You can just do a search there. Every Thursday night, we have these Flippinars. We're about an hour in. Get ready for the game, guys. I'm not even gonna fool you. Play like that, but we're gonna about end this up. Let's just take one more from Facebook and one more from Instagram, from YouTube.
Okay.
Roll out.
YouTube, Brian Jeffers, with wholesaling apartments, are we only looking for cash buyers, or does it not matter if they are getting financing?
It really doesn't matter if they're getting if they're getting financing in most cases. Sometimes it can be a hurdle, but normally, whenever you're dealing with commercial real estate, which multifamily is a form of that, you have a lot of creativity and everybody's investor minded, from the buyer, the seller, you obviously, and even the lender, or if you have a broker involved, everybody's used to doing creative things to make deals work. So it's not an issue.
Okay, and I put that shot out there on Facebook, and still no one's giving me any question. I don't see. Just in this, because this is going to be a hard one. Lifelong student, you posted this probably 6 times, so I'm gonna ask it. Is it worth it trying to flip a high-end home? Found a home for $320, and it needs $35,000 in repairs, with an estimated $600,000 after repair value. So that's $355 under the 6. Sounds like a deal, but is it worth trying to market high end?
Yeah, I wish I had that deal. I would make 50K on that, no question. If it only takes 30 to fix it, I may make 100 on that. Yes, if you have that opportunity, you need to run to that deal. That's what you live for right there. Them the stories. Yeah, that's a good one. So oh yeah, that's quick math. That works. That deal works. So that's it, eh?
That's it. That's what we got. He put LOL. I think you ended his night off on a good note.
Oh yeah, that's a good deal, my friend. So again, we appreciate Adrian producing for us tonight, helping me out on the technical side so we can get more questions in. We were live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So Instagram next week, hopefully I'll be able to read some questions off of that, get some questions read off of that, and we'll rock and roll. So again, I have the 200 plus videos. Check them out. Dive in, flipman.net if you need a coach. So until next week, Adrian.
That's right.
We'll see you all on the flip side.
Bye. Go Cavs.